Grace and peace, everybody. Welcome to Berean TV. Statements constantly coming in. This is another statement, and I'm gonna address somebody. Said, "Well, you Christians don't want to never deal with the Nicene Council and the truth about what happened at the Nicene Council." I notice when I deal with critics of the Bible, when I deal with people, especially in the conscious community, they don't know the history of the Nicene Council. They can't tell me any books, what was the canons, what came from them, the decrees that came from it, who was in the room. They can't do it. And another mistake that they often make, they confuse the councils with the edicts. We have, and I'm going to explain the difference. The Nicene Council, a few people got together. They say it was about 318 people that got the bishops, should I say, besides their acolytes and deacons and other people, got together under the Emperor Constantine because of Arianism or the Arian controversy. Now, this guy Arius was he was in the Church of Alexandria, and he started to teach that one day God the Father created Jesus. I believe homoousios was the word. I spoke about it in other videos. And other people in the room did not believe that. They believed that Jesus was eternal. That's what the entire Nicene Council was about. Was Jesus eternal, or one day did God make Jesus and Jesus make the planet? It would be like Protestants, it would be like certain, let's say Pentecostals. It would be like the difference between Pentecostals and Jehovah Witnesses. They believe a lot of the same things, but Jehovah Witnesses believe that Jesus is an angel and he's a lesser God than the high God. This is what the Nicene Council was about. But the entire conscious community and people that constantly write me and send me messages, always talking about the white man made Jesus God and they invented Christianity at the Nicene Council, which is total madness. People worship Jesus as Christianity was established way before that. We have that from the writings of different people. Nero set the city on fire and he blamed it on Christians hundreds of years before Constantine was born. People were worshiping Jesus. So it was about the actual nature of Christ. That's all it had to do. Everybody in the room believed that Jesus created the planet, that he was around with creation. But the thing that they confused that with is the Edict of Milan. Now, the Edict of Milan is something that took place earlier that wasn't with Constantine and a group of people. An edict is something that somebody in authority passes. And the Edict of Milan basically said it is no longer against the law for a Christian or for Christianity to be against the law. It's no longer illegal for the Christian religion. Back in the days, on and off, there were persecutions from the first century with Christians. They were being fed to the lions. They were being burnt at the stake. The gladiator schools and everything. They were just terrorizing them, and people would come to see Christians being killed. They couldn't own any property. They would come and they would ransack your house. They would take your home and everything in it because you didn't want to worship Caesar. You didn't want to acknowledge Caesar as Lord. And you said that there was one Lord and his name was Jesus or Yeshua. And that's where the problem came in. So that the Edict of Milan, it was no longer against the law. Constantine didn't make everybody become a Christian. He just said from now on, you could own a house and become a Christian. You can have a political office and be a Christian. You won't be killed for your belief like the Christians were being killed for the first 300 years. That's the difference between the Edict of Milan. A bunch of white folk didn't get together. That was a decree from the king. We're not going to make it against the law. If President Obama signed something, he said it's okay to have same-sex marriages, or the mayor here in New York City, it's okay to have same-sex marriages. 200-300 years from now, you can't turn around and say the mayor from New York made everybody gay. It's impossible. That's not what happened. And people constantly turn the history around and they mix up Milan. They don't understand the Edict of Milan that took place in 313 AD from the Nicene Council and that controversy with Arius and Athanasius in 325. Know your history. I often ask people about books. People ask me about books. Philip Chaff, I think he was a Protestant theologian back in the days, in the 1800s. He have a bunch of works. If you see anything on Philip Chaff, church history, Eusebius, ecclesiastical history, Socrates have another one from, I think, you could read it kind of like a part two to ecclesiastical history from 325 on up to 600 or something like that concerning the church history. Chaff's works are older works, but anything by Philip Chaff is good. Y'all checked it out. You've been watching Berean TV. If you like what you heard, subscribe. Thanks for watching.